Guard goes in, and the next thing you see is the door explode open, and these two are like fighting.
Hey, this is Matt Cox and
Zach,
and we are answering subscriber questions. So this is it.
all right, what's it like going into the bank now after you've been out of prison for defrauding them? Having a BOA, a Bank of America account now would be hilarious.
Yeah, you can answer it first because I've opened a Bank of America account.
I didn't try them.
Yeah, I did. I tried to open a secured Bank of America account. I sent them the money, and they sent me. No, I didn't send them money. So sorry. I applied, and they just came back and said not interested. Now, granted, I do owe them $2 million. I feel like they're holding resentment. It's like, get over it. It was like 20 years ago. It was like 17. Oh, no.
FDIC. The FDIC gave you your money.
Yeah. It was like 15 years ago.
Right.
That I, so whatever. They're just, they're holding on to it. So one, they wouldn't even let me open a secured credit card. I did go and open up a business account with them. So I opened up a business account and they shut it down like 2 weeks later.
Right.
I don't know what happened. They ran me through through the system, everything. They were like, yeah, no problem. And I'd already been denied for the secured credit card. And I thought, okay. So, and I knew other guys that got denied for secure credit cards with Bank of America. So I thought maybe they're just a little bit stricter. Anyway, I opened up a business account. 2 weeks later, they mailed it back. They just said they closed it for no reason. But the first time I went into the bank, I was in a halfway house.
Right.
So I went into Wells Fargo and I opened a bank account. Wells Fargo had an agreement with the halfway house to allow people at the halfway house to open up accounts. So that was the account I got opened.
Right.
But when I walked in there, I just remember thinking, I walked in there like, oh, where are you staying? I was like, staying at the halfway house. They were like, oh, okay. Very polite, very professional. But I kept feeling like they're going to close the account. They're not going to give me an account.
Right.
But they did. They gave me an account. I was like, and everything went through okay? She was like, yeah, everything was fine. Yeah, I was like, okay. So I've had that account. That account's been great.
Wells Fargo is a good bank. I'm TD Ameritrade, and I didn't start with them. I started with Chase, and Chase.
I don't think it's gonna be too bad on here, but
that's insane.
It is. Chase closed my account afterwards, but
why?
They didn't.
They don't tell you. They just say we're closing your account.
Yeah, and a month later we'll send you your money. But apparently Chase must have some connection with NetSpend, because when I got out, I didn't get a bank account. I just went ahead and got a prepaid card with the Western Union NetSpend card, and I was using that. And then my brother said, "Why don't you just get a real bank account?" So I went online and applied for Chase, and they granted it and opened it and everything. So then they closed it. So I didn't know what had happened. I figured I was in NCIC. So then I went to another bank, TD Bank, and I've been there ever since. I love it. So
yeah,
no problem. Secure cards and all,
It's funny. I feel the same way about every time I've gotten on a plane. Well, not every time. The first time I went to fly, I just remember thinking they're never going to let me on the plane. Like, I have passport fraud. I had a red notice on Interpol.
Right.
Like I was on like a no fly list. Like there was all these things that they were looking for Matthew Cox. Now, granted, it was 15 years ago, but I was thinking there's just no way they're going to run my name. I'm not getting on. But I've never had a problem.
Oh, wow.
We'll really know when I have to fly when I go to Europe. I'm going to Europe in a couple of weeks. So when I go to Europe, they'll be run through the system.
Yes.
Like then I'm going to know.
Especially coming back
into the U.S.
Yes.
Yeah, like leaving. You're right. Leaving might not be an issue. Coming in might be. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I almost want to get pulled aside and questioned. I want to be able to go, but I'd almost be comical. Like what a great story that would be. Mr. Cox, we'd like to talk to you over here.
Oh, well,
awesome. What's up?
No, I can tell you from experience of the couple of people who I know that came back in the country and got picked up. Like, so when you walk out of the terminal, it'll be two people, and they'll be like, "Mr. Cox, can you follow us, please?"
Oh, you're not going to go through. It's not going to be at passport control.
Yeah, no. You're gonna come off the plane, and they're gonna be like, "Excuse me, Mr. Cox." You're like, "Yeah."
I'm going to be like, who?
Mr. Cox, can you follow us, please?
I'm so sorry. You must have me confused.
Okay. then
I'll pull
whoever
out my another fake ID. My name's Johnson.
you know that's part of my arrest in the feds.
Oh, I know.
They asked me. I go, no, my name is such and such. They're like, oh.
Now we've got you for identity theft too. That was an extra 2. Did you just gave me a fake ID? That was an extra 2 years. Aggravated identity theft. Nice. I'll be keeping that.
That's exactly what he did. It's like, I go, Mr. Allen. I'm like, no. What's your name? I go, my name is blah, 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 you know, whatever I use. And he's like, you have ID? Yeah. He's like, oh, got it.
2 extra years.
Yeah, let's go. Good try, buddy. All right. Did you ever fight a guard or see a guard fought? Interesting story of someone attacking a guard.
Okay, first of all, anybody watching this, it's embarrassing that someone would even ask this, right? Like, dude, either one of us are going to fight a guard.
Yeah,
I'm not fighting a guard. That you don't win fighting a guard.
No.
Even if you got the best of them, which I'm not getting the best of anybody.
Right.
So if I got the best of them, I mean, you're going to get the piss beat out of you when they grab you and catch, you know, people
when they
think,
come in.
Oh no, they don't do that. The hell they don't. They'll beat your ass like you can't believe. And then they'll keep you into the shoe until you heal. And then they'll let you see the doctor. See, we told you nothing was wrong with them. That was 2 months ago. I'm all better now.
Yes, but yes, have you seen a guard get beat up or attacked?
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of guards get into fights.
At the low?
I didn't see this. There was actually one time a punk. The guard tried to grab the punk. The punk yanked away. Don't you touch me! And ran
Really?
into the bathroom, it went into the toilet stall, and closed the door. Well, the guard caught up and realized, okay, he's in there. Goes in and kicks open the door, and the punk attacked him. He fell on the ground, and he was beating on him. The punk is screaming while he's fighting with the guard. The guard is screaming like, help, help, help. I mean, it was a whole thing. Like, it was hilarious, bro. The guard had a black eye. Like, he came back like 2 days later. He came back. We never saw the punk again. So I saw that. I heard that. I've seen guards beat up inmates and they fight back. It's just not a great fight with a guard. But I think that's pretty much it.
Well, I've seen a couple of guards fights like you have. Probably my favorite one was a guy. It was an old man about 65 or something. And the guard was saying, hey, he came back in from, we were coming back in from chow, from eating. And the guards at the door said, hey, let me pat you down. And he's like, no. And he starts walking faster. Because like when you're coming up the walkway, you make a right to go into your unit. So he's coming up the walkway, and the guard, as he's turning to go in, the guard's like, hey, let me pat you down. So the guy, like, he doesn't hear him. He goes, hey. He calls him by name and everything. He says, hey, Smith, let me check you. And he kept walking. He started walking faster. So I'm like about 4 steps behind him. So I'm watching and hearing this, and then I see the guard going after him. So the guy's moving real fast to his cell. So he gets to his cell, and the guard goes in, and the next thing you see is the door explode open, and these two are like fighting. A 65-year-old man. So they're swinging like the 65-year-old man swinging. So he gets to the 65-year-old man. It sounded like that.
Wow. Yeah, as soon as this is over, I'm going to make a call.
He got the 65-year-old man in a headlock, right? Somehow the 65-year-old man gets out of the headlock and gets the guard in a headlock. It's like they exchanged wrestling positions. Like the whole unit is like awestruck as this is going on. It's about 15 minutes of them fighting, rolling up, swinging, headlock.
I mean, the guard didn't hit the button? You know,
No.
all of them, so what most people don't realize.
Matter of fact, eventually the guy got the old man in handcuffs. Like after like 15 minutes, you're watching this like, it's going on it's like about a 20-minute fight. 20 minutes before the guard next door, because it's 2 guards, it's 2 units. So he goes in after the guy. It's 20 minutes before the guard next door comes in to help him. But he's got him in handcuffs.
See, so what happens is all the guards have a radio. On the radio, there's like a red button.
Yes.
And they
the
can
panic
hit
button.
the panic button. They can, if they hit the panic
We call
button.
them the deuces.
Yeah, the deuces. They hit the deuces. So if they hit the deuces, all the guards come running on that. They converge on that location. You could always tell because, I mean, immediately they start screaming over the PA system, lockdown, lockdown,
Right.
So, and then all the guards start running to that one guard's location. I mean, and listen, some of the guards are there in 20 seconds.
30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Ready for action.
Right.
There was a female guard that used to run to all. When I was in the penitentiary, there was a white female lady. We used to think she was crazy. She would not only, if there was a fight, she'd run in and she'd tackle dudes. Like if you and I are fighting, we're standing up, she'd actually tackle me. Like she had some kind of aggression where I guess she loved that type of physical play. And so she was on it.
Right.
Like, hey, I get to get all this out, all this aggression out. Leave there like, sex me. All right, it's all right. So yes, I've seen many guards in action and fighting.
What's another one?
Okay, another one. Matt, I remember you said your one-time friend got caught up in Orlando and snitched on you. Just curious if you ever had any adventures back in the day in Central Florida, like Orlando, Seminole County, Volusia County.
Yeah,
blah 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 blah.
Yeah, he
blah.
names
Or
all these
any
different
people
counties
that you're associated with that were from out there that had anything significant to your hustle back in the day. I probably shouldn't have circled that one.
Yeah, I know that seems. I mean, I know that. I mean, obviously, I've committed fraud in like Hillsborough, Pinellas.
Did you go to Polk County?
What county is Orlando? Because I was
Orange.
in Orange County. I was in Orlando.
It's Orange and it's one more.
Done stuff in Jacksonville and where's Tallahassee?
Tallahassee is Seminole.
Is it Seminole?
Marion County? Is that not?
I don't know.
Marion is Orlando. Jackson, Tallahassee is it's not Bay County. I think Bay is Fort Myers, Fort Walton Beach. Tallahassee is I want to say Seminole, but I'm probably lying.
It doesn't matter. I mean, the point is that so I mean, yeah, I've got a bunch of different counties in Florida that I've done fraud in, real estate fraud. The bulk of that fraud was real estate fraud. I mean, but I'm not even sure what the rest of the question means. Like, are there people in those counties that, no, there's nobody that was in the counties. Like I went to the county because I was trying not to consolidate the bulk of my fraud in just Hillsborough County. So obviously I was traveling to different counties hoping to kind of, and by the way, that's an enhancement, changing jurisdiction to evade detection.
Yes.
Like to me, that's just what you do, but apparently that's an enhancement. You can get an extra few years for that, which I did. So yeah, so that was, that's why initially my entire charge or my case started with the FDLE because there were so many different counties involved that they had to put together a task force to investigate. And once they had investigated the task force and they had all the information, they were like, okay, well, he's borrowing money from banks all over the country in these different counties, in different, it's too complicated of a case for the local police to look into. So that's when they handed it over to the FBI. That was my first case. That's not true. That was my second case.
That's your second case?
Sorry, but go ahead.
All right. Are you able to disappear or erase your tracks right now? Is there someone that makes that service Breaking Bad style?
I mean, in Breaking Bad, don't they have like some seedy underworld guy that can turns these guys into like ghosts? Like they can eliminate everything on the. There's not really that I know of person that can do that. There are sites called that site called Reputation.com. So Reputation.com, they actually, what they do is they don't eliminate things on the internet about you, but they'll post so many things with your name in it and your basic information on you in it that they push any derogatory information down like 15 or 20 pages. So if somebody's looking for you and they're looking for your charge,
right?
And there's multiple blogs and different types of websites that you're mentioned on, every time somebody's not going to go 15 pages. There's 20 per page, 15 pages. They're not going to look for through 300 different, different information, whatever you call it, things that came up to try and find your arrest. So they're going to click on the first one. It's like, okay, well, this is some blog from 5 years or 2 years ago about this guy that they met and blah blah
Really?
blah.
That's an interesting service.
Then they go to the next one. It's called reputation.com, I think.
Oh wow.
And they go to the next one. They go to the next one, and then this is a little like you can pay more and more. Like, this is an article that mentions him in it, and stupid stuff. But they flood the whole internet with that, and they push all your bad stuff down. I know this because there's a bunch of fraudsters and con men in prison, and all of them were like, I'm going to that. They're all trying to cover up everything. They want to get rid of their charges and change their name and do this and do that. I'm going to go to reputation.com and have them, that way they will bury anything that came out on me that was in the newspaper. And, so there's that service. The more you pay, the more stuff they can flood it with. And
that's what, so they actually do the opposite of erasing. They just kind of flood the dome, which is
because you can't get rid of it. Like you can't go, like if there's something on my website and your name's on it, you can't get rid of that. There's just no way. Somebody has to hack into the website and get rid of this. Like you can't go into this server. And that's populated on numerous servers. So there's just no way. So what they do instead is they just overwhelm them. And
they're like, okay, wow, there's 20 pages on this guy.
Right. And think about it like this too. Like for instance, I had a friend that she signed up for, to become a Wikipedia, it's a Wikipedia reporter. Because people think like Wikipedia is like 100% like legit. Like, oh yeah, it's all vetted and it's this and that. And it's really not.
Well, it's an encyclopedia online.
See, you're thinking the same thing. You're thinking, no, it is. No, it's not. It's independent. So they have a small staff of people that do a little bit of vetting. But the bulk of Wikipedia is written by independent Wikipedia reporters. And so what happens is you could sign up and say, hey, here's why I want to be a reporter with Wikipedia. Because I've done this, and I used to write for my college newspaper, and and you could put a little bio together, which can be complete BS.
Right.
And then you then go on several different Wikipedia pages, and you can change it on Wikipedia. You can go in and say, hey, guess what? That guy did get 26 years, but he was recently released.
Right.
And then you put a link, and if they check it, they go, hey, that was good information. We're adding what you wanted, and we like that.
Right.
So if you can change, let's say you change 5 or 10 different Wikipedia pages, and they see that you're credible, they'll now make you an official Wikipedia reporter, and you can write Wikipedia pages. So you can start putting up Wikipedia pages. I could write a whole Wikipedia page about you. And so now I've written a whole thing, and then they'll vet it. Well, where'd you get this? Oh, you got this from this newspaper article. Oh, you got this from this book about him. Oh, you got this. And they'll kind of look there and they'll go, you know what? This is a good one, and they'll post it. So what I'm saying is a lot of that can be done. They have Wikipedia, and then they have Wikipedia people. Wikipedia people. Right. So you could actually sign up, and so imagine what you can do with that. Once you do that, there are other websites that will go in and take that information and create their own.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So more and more, so it comes up more and more and more on you. Like you can almost do it yourself.
Right.
You could also write a small article about yourself and post it on multiple blogs. Like you can start forcing stuff down on you because this is more recent stuff. And if you look at it a lot from different IP addresses, it populates higher too. So it pushes everything down.
I like that, though. That's a smart comment. That's really basically all the good questions.
Was there one about? There was one question I know some guy had asked about, like, what crimes? Are there any crimes that you came up with in prison?
I think that was the last one. Remember, I told you I used to walk when I got no, that was the other podcast I did that on. No, that's not on this one.
Well, there was one guy, I remember I read one question where it's like, are there any crimes that you came up with while you were incarcerated? And I know, because I know I read that one, and I was like, you know what, I could do a whole podcast on that, because it'd be kind of like the tax scam,
right?
And just how, because you had done the tax scam, And we were going to talk about how it's kind of dried up and why it's dried up, and then how it's evolved and different versions of it that I saw while I was incarcerated.
Right.
And then, different ways that it's slowly evolving. And anyway, so that's like a whole podcast on its own. And we're actually going to do a podcast on that. And it may be after this podcast. I don't know. That's up to Colby. But anyway, it'll be something about the tax scam, or something about, it'll be called something about tax scams, or income tax scams, or something. I don't know. It'll be titled something tax scam. So we'll check that out next time. And are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's it. All right. So my name's Matt Cox, and that's Zach, and we just did a podcast. And so if you like the podcast, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, share the video. Can you imagine? So you'll be doing this soon. Share the video, send it to a bunch of your friends, buy a book, buy a t-shirt. You know what's going on, man. All right. See ya.